On this episode of Blending Bourbon, I'm flying solo. I'm drinking some 2XO, talking about what's to come, and guess what's back? Hashtag whiskey in a box.
Blending Bourbon is the podcast that takes you beyond the barrel and behind the scenes of the whiskey industry with master blenders Dixon Dedman and David Mark Young.
Welcome back to another episode of Blending Bourbon. I am 99% sure that I missed the last episode, but I'm not even positive if that one happened. I am Dixon Dedman, 2XO whiskey, and my partner in crime in terms of Blending Bourbon podcast, the master blender of Golden Sheaf and the only known living metrosexual Sasquatch from Omaha, Nebraska, David Mark Young, is unavailable today. He's getting, I don't know if it's his nails done or if it's a nail and hair or one of those, what they call it on the Jersey Shore, GTL, like it's a gym tan laundry day. I'm not really sure, but I said, yeah, I'll sit in the big seat by myself and kind of riff on a few things. Myerton, who is also become kind of a fixture, is out. I think he's working on new comedy routines or flannel shopping. I'm not sure which. So Ben is producing, and Ben may or may not just kind of pop in and say, "Hey, Dixon, quit while you're ahead." I'm not really sure, but as I was thinking about what to talk about, since I'm just the one talking, and I want to apologize for those of y'all who are listening, just via audio, because I've got a lot of visuals today, and what I would, if you kind of like the episode in an audio format, whether that's wherever, I always hear them say wherever you get your podcast. I'm not even really sure what that means, but there's apparently like a lot of places you can get your podcast. So wherever you get your podcast, we also go. You can see this on YouTube, and if you want some of these visuals, go to YouTube later and watch this. But so I was like, okay, what are we gonna do here? What's and where are we gonna go with this? And so I was thinking about what I've got going on right now. I just actually got back. I've been on I just got back from Florida with my wife and kids on their fall break. So I have been traveling, and then when I scheduled a week to not travel, to be home, my wife decided that we were going to travel. So we traveled, and now I've kind of got this laundry list of things to get to. It's kind of funny, in this world, we're launching products. We're actually, putting products into market right now. And then, you're already working on the next ones. You're already, kind of building and looking at the next one. So, we launched about a month-ish ago. Two things I'm very excited about. I've talked about this before. This is the tribute blend from in the Icon series from the Gem of Kentucky, and from 2XO, and I've talked about this. This is the third of the Icon blends. The first was the Phoenix. The second one was the Innkeepers. The third is this tribute blend. And, this is, this is the one with the family crest on it. This is the one I brought my dad in to help me make. And this is the one, it's funny. This is kind of this hybrid, profile. It's kind of, it's in the middle, right? I mean, it's kind of this hybrid of the Phoenix, which was syrupy and rich and heavy and viscous without a lot of finish on the back end. Innkeepers, less of that initial forward sweetness, much more of this kind of back end spicy finish, lingering component. And I think the Tribute blend lands right there in the middle. I think there's good kind of fruit and viscosity on the front, and it's a slightly more muted spice, but the spice is there on the back end nonetheless. So the other product that we're putting out there right now is the American Oak version of the Oak series from 2XO. American Oak, because all the barrels that make up this product, I actually double oaked them with chains of charred new American oak that were inserted into the barrels from 6 to 9 months. So we got that double oak interaction, really heavy, sweet, kind of richness, caramel, toffee, vanilla on the front end that then transitions to this nice little spicy finish on the back end, 92 proof. And this is like an everyday ongoing. This is, I've already lined up 3 more rounds of this through 2024. So this is the everyday, always available, working to get it into cocktail programs, working to get it into, restaurants and bars. And the response to this has been absolutely mind boggling. I mean, I knew it was good. I wouldn't have done it if I didn't, but it's just, you still, it's just one of those things. Like, you put it out there and you're putting yourself out there and see what happens. So we got those 2 things out there. And I'm going to go back to them. The other thing that I just finished up is this bad boy right here. And this is starting to hit markets as we speak. This is the Gem of Kentucky by 2XO. These are single barrels, exclusively double-barreled high rye bourbon, anywhere from 6 to 12 months in the second new charred oak barrel. Different barrel numbers. So each barrel is unique. We didn't do this where we cut it down to a proof where you can't really notice any of the kind of the differences in the barrels. These are very different. Some are from a Char 3 barrel, which will be more red fruit, more spice on the back end. They kind of amp up that original kind of spicy, fruity distillate. Some of these were in a Char 4 barrel, and what they do is they really turn it into a much richer and more syrupy front of the palate type thing. If you notice, these are commonalities that are associated or kind of in the Icon series. So the Phoenix blend, syrupy, viscous, rich, forward on the palate, had more of the Char 4 double-barreled liquid in them. The Innkeepers, a little bit spicier, a little bit more savory in the middle. They had a little more 3 in them. So each Gem of Kentucky is unique. We've handwritten the barrel number on each one of them. Each one has its own profile, it's a different journey, and it's kind of it's actually really this is kind of fun. You throw something out there and you say, and it's like people, I like, the people I've tasted, I like 37 better than I like 46. I like 22 better than I like 17. It's great. That proves the point that what we've done is create different expressions. They're not all the same. We didn't make a single barrel that we cut down to a proof that you couldn't notice the differences between barrel to barrel. That was exactly what we were trying not to do. And so this is coming out limited quantities and things like that. But the other thing that I'm excited about, I have two glasses here. The glass on the right is that American Oak series. And it is, this is going to be the kind of the staple, the core of 2XO. And I'm tasting through this, but again, the oak, the oak richness, the double, from the double barreling, it's got the nose is syrupy. The nose is sweet. It is, for me, it's a little bit of, it's vanilla, it's caramel. I love it when people are like, you know what, I smell bourbon. I get it. But when I taste this, what I appreciate about what we've accomplished with the American Oak is that full palate expression. And when I say full palate expression, I mean it starts on the tip of your tongue, and there's good kind of barrel, there's sweetness, there's richness, there's savory notes in the middle, and then it moves, it moves back to this kind of spicy, lean, it's just, there's a finish there. You've had bourbon, but I don't mean that in a way that like it's going to sound. What I mean is like it kind of checks the boxes, right? It checks okay, I got this sweet viscous thing. You can feel it. I always talk about the feel. You can feel it. And complexity for me comes from being able to feel it in multiple portions of the palate. The front of your palate is sweet. The middle of your palate is savory. The back of your palate is spiced. The other parts that I always focus on are the sides. If you taste it on the side, that's where you taste sour. That's where you taste bitter. That's where you taste acid. I don't want it anywhere near the sides, but full complexity for me means that you get it from front all the way to back. And I think what we've accomplished with American Oak is creating a bourbon that, even though it's only at 92 proof, it drinks from a viscosity standpoint as something higher in proof. It has the viscosity of a higher proof bourbon. Not the burn, not the alcohol, not the I can breathe fire or this is coming out of my nose, but it has the viscosity of a higher proof bourbon. And it has the complexity of a higher proof bourbon. When you reduce proof, the first thing you lose is sweetness, is richness, is viscosity, is you cut things down, and you're adding water, you're diluting. And the more, spice will always stay. Sweetness, viscosity, richness, the more dilution, the less of that you have. I would say, generally speaking, if you went and bought, let's say, a dozen bottles from different producers in that 90-ish proof range, this is not a criticism. This is just a Dixon Dedman hot take. What you would find if you just based what you were tasting on location, sensory location, if you just based it on that, not based on, oh, I get a little bit of charred giraffe hoof and a little bit of toasted boysenberry mixed with Afghan weed or whatever. Like, if you threw all these stupid tasting notes out, you just said, where? Those 12 90-ish proof bourbons you got they'd be one-trick ponies. And I say that as if it's an insult. And I don't mean it as an insult. What I'm saying is, if it's a 92 proof bourbon with a lot of, with rye in the mash bill, I'd almost guarantee you're not going to feel it on the front of your tongue. It's going to start here and it's going to go back. It's going to start in the middle and then you're going to get spice. It's driven by the rye. And when they've taken it down to 90-something proof, from the 120-ish it comes out of the barrel, you take it down to 92 proof or 90 proof or 88 proof or whatever it is, you've taken all of the components that would make it resonate on the front of the palate, and you've diluted them out so that all you have left is the rye that would make it, recognizable on the back of the palate. Conversely, there would be some that you would say, this is super light, super mild, and it's all right here on the front, and there's nothing on the back. That would be your 90 proof wheated bourbons. You say, oh, this is so mild. Oh, this is so light. Oh, I like this little bit of sweetness. But if you close your eyes and you said, is this bourbon? A lot of times you'd be like, I mean, it has some, but what I want is to be able to, like, I want to know, I want a little bit of that spice. I want a little finish. I want something there. You taste people on 92 proof or 90 proof wheated bourbons blind when they have no idea what they're drinking, and 9 times out of 10 they say, that's super thin, that's really light, that's kind of, it's because you're expecting, your subconscious, when you're drinking bourbon, is expecting some sort of finish, something in the back end, something that it just hangs around there and says, yeah, this ain't tea. And that's generally speaking what happens with bourbons in that 90-ish category, is because of that dilution, they really localize on the palate based on the amount of dilution it takes to get them there. Not a bad thing. Make for great cocktails, make for great mixers, make for super easy. I don't have to think much about it over some rocks or on a cube or whatever. But complexity is, I'm feeling this in multiple places. I'm getting a lot of different stuff. I'm getting these sweet notes. I'm getting these savory notes. I'm getting these spicy notes. I'm getting, and that complexity is often hard to achieve the lower proof you get. What I think, starting to sound like a commercial, what I think we've done with American Oak is created something in that lower proof that actually achieves that complexity from front, middle to back in terms of, where you taste it. All of that was a lead up to things like this. Second glass I have in front of me. Second glass in front of me is the next project in the Icon series. So the Oak series, not Icon series, Oak series. This is going to be, it's not a series in that one comes in and one comes out. It's a series in that we're going to continue to add components to this. I got back from this trip to Florida, and I had a box, a nice gurgling box. Those are always fun when you pick that up and you're like, oh, this isn't shoes that my wife bought. This is real fun stuff. But what will be the sister sister core brand to American oak is French oak. And so I've done the exact same thing in that I've inserted these long chains of charred new French oak into barrels. And I got home, I got a box of about 24 samples of that stuff. And this is I think somewhere around 4 months of the French oak in these barrels. This is a completely different animal. This is got this kind of coffee. It's like a coffee and nutty, like a coffee and cashew kind of nose with some cool. It's like coffee, cashews, and like nutmeg is what it is crazy how different these are. Wow. So this French oak, 4 months, everything I said, kind of remember it, but this lands so heavy on the middle of it's like if you stuck out your tongue and you dropped a quarter right in the middle of your tongue, it lands right there and then kind of slides backwards. This is like it's this kind of nutty, toasted, like my dad makes sourdough bread, and it's like toasted sourdough bread. Like the kind of the crunchy part that's browned up, it's like and there's coffee. It's like it's not like heavy, like you just walk past a Starbucks coffee. It's just this note of like kind of like if you like a bag of whole bean coffee kind of note. And then there's like a almost peanut brittle thing, like, and then and then it slides to, and it's not peppery spice, it's like it's baking spice, it's like cinnamon, nutmeggy kind of thing. Yeah, so this one again, it's so funny. This has got this richness to it, but the American oak begins much further forward on the palate. This one just jumps straight to the middle, kind of says, "Yeah, here I am. Get some of this," and then slides into spice on the back end. There's a lot there, and again at 92 proof. So that's this is my what I do is come home and then try to find figure out, hey, is this working or not? And I can tell you this French oak version is how you say kicking ass and taking names. I think that's how you say it. It's solid. So a couple things before the big finish here today. Excited, locking up some guests that we're going to have on the show upcoming. My good friend Jonathan Crocker from Frank August is going to be a guest here in the very near future. I don't know if you know the brand Frank August, but check it out. Also, my friends of mine, who just had a big announcement. Denny Potter and Jane Bowie, Potter Jane Distilling Company, former Maker's Mark superstars. We're going to have them kind of come on and talk about what's going on with them, and that's super exciting. Want to keep, we're going to do another episode coming soon about, and around your questions. But, if, as we say all the time, like, you got somebody you want us to talk to, you got somebody you want us to bring on, send just messages. You got a topic that you want me to ramble on about, send us a message. And then I thought that I would close this out with something that I haven't done in years, actually. And it started as this way to pass the time during the pandemic. I was bored, and I thought I just did it to be funny one time, and then people thought it was funny, and so I did it a few more times, and then it's turned into a thing. And I think imitation is the finest form of flattery, right? Is that how you say that? I think I got that right. But I see people doing this all the time now, all the time. And it's turned into a thing, which I think is super cool. When I started it, it was called Whiskey in a Box. And I had a cardboard box that I had taped a piece of copy paper to that had hashtag Whiskey in a Box and my Instagram handle on it. And what I would do was videotape, record myself, and somebody on my staff or team would pour a glass of one of the bourbons we had at the inn, and then put the bottle underneath the box. And I would taste, or I would smell and taste and describe what was in the glass. And then I would try to figure out what it was. And I would guess, I think it's XYZ. And then I would lift up the box, and I would be sometimes close and sometimes super wrong. And usually I was in the ballpark, but I wasn't like, nailing it. And I would then get angry and throw the box and probably say something stupid and then finish the video. And then I had this friend, Chance, who is a very incredibly talented woodworker, who said, your box sucks. And so he made me a new box out of white oak, beautiful white oak. And he put the Whiskey in a Box on it, and he put my old Instagram handle on it, which I don't use anymore. And it was this beautiful box, and I thought, Chance, this is fantastic, except I can't throw it. But that's neither here nor there. So then he made me a new box with my Deadman Consulting logo on it. So what I did today was have my lovely bride came by. It's probably, we'll figure it out. And I said, hey, while you're here, could you pick one of these bottles that are here in my office? And I don't want you to think there's probably, 300 plus open bottles in here, and only I'd say 20% of that are bottles that I had a hand in creating. Most of this is, whatever. Things I have, things that she said, get out of this house. You have too much whiskey in our, whatever. There's a lot of bottles here. So I have no idea what's here, but I have a glass and in the box. This is a whiskey in the box. And if you don't know, you need to go back at Dixon_Dedman and watch all of these stupid videos that I used to do. So here goes whiskey in a box number. I don't know what number it is. First time in a long time. This is good night. This is candy. This reminds me of the caramel candy on a stick. It's like the caramel candy. My kids have those suckers. They're gross. I think they're like sour apple, candy apple, where there's the green and then the caramel. And this reminds me of the caramel. This is like Werther's origin, not Werther's. This is like the little square caramels that my grandmother had in her pocketbook at church. And then there's some pine. There's some it's like a spruce, like the blue spruce thing, those needles that hurt like hell. Not like the pine straw stuff, but like the ones that are real stabby. I'm smelling caramel and stabby pine needles. And I think, it's not crazy. It's low hundreds. It's not. Now I have to start. Now I'm kind of also cheating because I'm thinking about what's in the office or what's back there. But there's not grain. There's no grain notes here. There's no. It's getting pinier. I think this is a rye. This is a rye. This is it's pinier on the taste. It's decent spice, but it's not like that super peppery like 95.5 kind of thing. It's not like this is solid. This is thick. This is got it's like corn. I mean, it's like it's almost like it's just past being a high rye bourbon into a low rye kind of thing. And the caramel's back. But it's the pine, the rye. I know it's rye because it's a little more. It goes further to the sides on the palate. Like it goes further. It's not right down the middle. And that's that a little bit of that that pininess that's also a little tart, like a little bit bitter, but not in a bad way because it's kind of balanced with. But it's very rich right there in the middle. This is really good. This is a rye. This is a rye that is lower rye content. This is not crazy high in proof. This is not low proof. This is not a low proof rye, but this isn't some big monster Thomas Handy. It is not. I know there's some of the metrosexual Sasquatches rye back there, but I don't. I think the one I have is higher in proof than. I know what this is. It's a great bottle. It's a great bottle. I think this is there's a rye. This is the malted rye New Riff. I have one of those back there. Somebody brought me one of those. It's the New Riff malted rye. It all makes total sense. That's what I think this is. And it's damn good too. So now I lift up this box and we find out just how correct I am. Which is not at all. Not even close. Well, I shouldn't say not close, but it's not the New Riff bottle. This is Fry Ranch distilled from 100% slow-grown winter rye from Fallon, Nevada. The coordinates are on here if you need to know them. 100 proof, so I was close on that. Got the mash bill. I said it was a rye. I really feel just okay about this, but about this guess is what I mean. I feel great about what's in this bottle, and that is how a whiskey in the box works without, in this version, me wearing fake tattoo sleeves or mustaches or cowboy hats or whatever, but you'll have to go back into my Instagram and find those things. So that's it. Wrapping up. Thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your comments. Thank you, Ben, for your hard work. Thank you, David, for another episode. I didn't have to deal with your goofy ass. Thank you all. Have a great day. Until next time, signing off. Cheers.